and raise it up.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to change the topic a little bit. It's Rosh Chodesh, and we're preparing for Rosh Hashanah. So, first of all, the shiur is dedicated to the Dr. Sachmechi, the family of his, that every Rosh Chodesh, they make sure to sponsor the shiur. So we want to wish him all the brachot and the atzlachot, and they should be zocher to only smachot b'ezrat Hashem. Okay. I have to start with a story that I said yesterday, because we always dealing with the symptoms. When we're doing already avonot, it's a symptom to something that already bringing it to this point. Yeah. Why are you doing avonot? What for? Why it's very hard for us to change the behavior? Must be a reason. Okay. So, it's more than that. It's more than that. So I'll tell you a story, and we're going to learn from there where is the problem. So many years ago in Europe was a king, and he had one boy. That he wanted this boy to learn how to be a king, because he's going, one day he'll take over. But the king is busy with people and the kingdom. He doesn't have time to teach his own son. So he's looking for advisor, somebody that can teach the child, yeah, how to be a king, how to behave, how. You know. So they send out, right, flyers. Whoever wants to be, whoever wants the job, please send us resume, email, and we will see who is the qualified one. Okay. They're going through this or this. Finally, they see a resume, and the king says, I think that's the one. Mayesh, why? He wrote on the resume, I'm very good. I have big knowledge in horses. Horse. Because a king needs to ride on that horse. So he will tell you which horse is fit for the king and what horse is not good. Meaning he knows that if the horse coming from a royal place or not. Number two, he said, I know very much about diamonds, jewelry, all these kind of things. I'm expert at it. And king, he needs, this is for the crown, for this and that. You need someone that is well aware. But the most important one was, he said, I know how to read people. I'm looking at a person. I know exactly who he is. Like MRI. No. They called him up for interview. And they see he is okay. He said, "You hired. Start tomorrow teaching my son." Okay. He's teaching the son 1 week, 2 weeks. Pitome the son comes and says, "You know, I'm a prince. I need a host. I want to buy a host." That's okay. Let's go to the marketplace and let's see what they have to offer. It was a market where everybody is selling hosts. They come there and he's saying to the son of the king, "Okay, look around." He saw a horse, a white horse, looks like a with royalty. He says, "That's the horse I want." The advisor told him, "No." Why not? This horse is not good. Dangerous. He said, "What dangerous?" "Oh, ככה, יפה, you know, אסיל, ככה יפה. Oh, he told him, "Listen, go tell the owner who you are and tell him to take a ride. He should ride this horse and let's see." So he went, he said, "You know, I'm the son of the king." He said, "Oh, the king is here, but I want to buy your horse." "בבקשה, okay, very good. But תעשה סיבוב אחד. You have to make one סיבוב. Test drive. He gets on the horse. He make half a turn, ככה. פתאום the horse got crazy, pushed them out, and then he stepped all over and he killed them. On the spot, he killed them. The owner. He killed his owner. And the child looking at the face, why? I'm so lucky to have such an advisor. Otherwise, my life would go. He said to the advisor, "Thank you very much." He put his hand in his pocket. He gave him $1 a tip. $1 tip. "Thank you for saving my life." Time passed. Then he said, "You know, I want to buy myself nice diamond, a ring, and you know, a watch with the diamonds and everything, because I'm a prince." He said, "Okay, let's go to the show." They're going to the show, and this child, Habibi, his eyes going crazy. He sees diamond over here, diamond over there. He says, "I want this." "Don't touch anything." He said, "Why not?" It's all fake. It's all fake over here. Don't touch. Don't touch it. He said, "What fake? People came to the show with fake." He said, "I'm telling you, it's fake. Don't touch it." "I know." He says, "But you don't have a loop. How can you say?" He said, "That's my job. I know." He said, "I want to test it." "Okay, test." There is a lab over there. He took there. He went to the lab. He said, "Please, if you can check it." They checked it. Said, "No, it's fake. It's zirconia." Listen, not diamond before. And they wanted for the pieces that he chose $500,000 they wanted to charge. A prince. So he said, "How did you know that it's fake? You saved my money now. First you saved my life, now you save the money. Another dollar tip for you." He said to him, now this child is saying to the advisor, I see in horses you're expert. Diamond, you expert. And you said that you're expert in people also. Maybe you can tell me what is my character? Who am I? I want to. You're not the son of the king.
Yeah.
He said, probably you adopted. You're not. He said, what are you talking about? These are my parents. He said, I'm telling you no. Go ask him. He went back, he says, your advisor that you took is saying that I'm not your son. Is it true? The king had no choice. He told him the whole truth. That you're not our son. He said, me and my wife, we're not able to bring children to the world. So we found you on the street, abandoned child. We decided to take you and to adopt you to be our son, and he will take over. Skinny got in shock. I'm not the son of the king, but he is going to be the successor. So he's coming back to the advisor, and he's asking him, how did you know? How did you know that I'm not the son of the king? How did you know? How did you pick that up? Told him, if you're the son of a king, if I saved your life, what son of a king give me $1 tip? Right away, I saw that you cheap. Your behaving is not bichlal, and the behavior is not belong to the palace. So I knew something is wrong, because a king is acting like a king, and the children also are. It's in the blood. It's in the genes. Huh? Yes? Good. That was only the example. Hashem says you are Am Segula, you're different from all the nations. You have my genes. Hashem says, I sent you to this world with my genes. You are my children. So if you're not knowing that you my kids, how are you going to act? Huh?
Can you same way to know this person is Jewish or not?
Huh? Absolutely.
You can
No.
by his behavior.
To be Bnei Melachim, the children of a king, it's something, it's a definition bichlal, totally from the whole. A simple people, they cannot act like that. You see, they're coming from a different place. So now, if we're not acting properly, something is wrong. Meaning you forget your identity. If you forget your identity, why should, even if I tell you, why don't you keep Shabbat? Why don't you? You're talking to a wall. First of all, you have to bring him to recognition, Bechlal, who he is, where you belong. When you know where you belong, then we can start to tell you the rules, right? How to sit, how to greet people, how to talk to people. Meaning, the genes that you have to develop it. But it's there. It's there. If you don't have it, you don't have it. So you have nobody to talk to. Don't even try. So in the yeshiva, when you're learning, there is a person who is in charge on the musar of the yeshiva. He is a discipliner, and he is the one to put the boys in line. Let's call him the mashgiach. Mashgiach Yeshiva, he knows everybody who is coming late to tefillah, who is not, talking in the middle of learning. His eyes is all over the place, and he knows. No, of course. There's two important people. The Rosh Yeshiva teaching you how to learn, and this one teaching you how to be a man, how to behave. The Menahel is in charge on the chinuch. By Shavot, no Menahel. No Menahel. He has a mashgiach. That's it. So now, yes. So he sees, who needs what, and he makes according to this. He prepares his classes. He has also classes in his office. 4 or 5 boys at the time. They all need the same thing. He gives them garapo, put them in line. Then another 5 to 6 boys, they need something else. So he gives each one the spoon that he needs. That's the main guy. But he needs books. He needs to open books and to show them, I'm not saying things from my pocket. I need books. So he showed them books. Then you can learn Musar from your Chevruta. You have somebody that you're learning with, okay? And he is saying to you, you have to be on time. No, this. We didn't finish the hour yet. You have to finish the page. No, he'll tell you, be on. He's trying also to give you some Musar also. And also he's saying, you know what? Let's you and me 15 minutes a day. Let's learn Orchot Tzadikim or Mesilat Yesharim. One book we need to go over with. Let's to go over to. That's your friend. There is Musar of Hashem also. What is the Musar of Hashem? There is a verse in Mishlei, Shlomo HaMelech saying it. Musar Hashem, Beni al tim'as. Hashem says, I have also shiur Musar, my child. Don't feel disgusted for what I'm telling you. What is the Musar of Hashem? Hashem don't need books. What? Musar Hashem, Kama, Beni. This is my Musar to you. You, my son. That's all. If you don't know that you, my son, whatever I'll tell you, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Hashem says, you, my child. I gave you my neshama, meaning you have my genes. Why are you acting like a goy? What's the matter with you? Meaning you lost your identity. Meaning, don't make yourself disgusted. Meaning people will look at you and you say, imagine a Jew putting tattoos, earrings. He lost his identity. Yes or no? Huh? He lost it. Totally lost it. Now go tell him, you have to do the tshuva, you have to do something. Talk to the world. It's something.
It's having fun.
It's
saying funny.
Yeah, because when he's soon I'll tell you why he thinks that he's having fun. There is a line in the Gemara that in the old days they took it out, the censura. The censor decided to take it out. Why? The Goyim should not see it. Now in the new printing, they printing it back. Now we're not afraid. What's written there? אתם קרואים אדם ואין אומות העולם קרואים אדם. People is only you, Adam. Then all other nations not considered people.
That was written in Gemara.
Yeah. Call them any name that you want. Adam? No. Now there is a book called the Kuzari. Right? Did you read it once?
I didn't know it.
Oh la la. It's a king, a goy, that is talking to Rabbi Yehuda Alevi. They exchanging ideas. So Rabbi Yehuda Alevi told them, you mean well, but what you're doing is not good. Meaning a goy can mean well, but when he takes action, it's to the wrong direction. But then they talking about the world. If he will say this today, they're gonna come up and say this king is a racist. He's a racist. Now he's a goy. He's a goy talking to the Rav, and they discussing the philosophy of the world. So we know we have 4 entities, right? Domem, Tzomea, Chai, Medaber. Meaning earth, which is earth, the trees, which is going, Chai, animals they have already nefesh, and then come people who talking, Medabrim. The king, the goy, is saying to Rabbi Levi, there is a 5th entity also. He says, which is this one that I'm not aware of? He tell them the Jews. The Jews, they say, you're not like anybody else. Who's saying it? Not we saying on ourselves. The goy saying to Rabbi Yehuda, that's who you are. We see you as number 5. You're different than anybody else. Because everybody can talk, but you're something else. Today, everybody, we're going to call him what? A racist.
Rob, excuse me.
Yeah.
The Ramchal says in Derek Hashem, the Jews are like a different species. Ramchal.
Yes.
Derek Hashem, we are a different species.
Yep.
We are like other humans, but we are like just like the animal kingdom. You have giraffe and lions. They're not the same animal. So the Jews are not the same as other men.
Yes. Now, what happened? I agree with you 100%. What happened if you see a person getting on the tree and he has a bunch of coconuts and he decided to be a monkey? Everybody who passed by, he takes a coconut and he throws it on a person and he says,
What's going to happen?
How are you going to define this person? Okay. You can say what? He got down from the level of a person, he became what? Animal. The Kuzari says no. No. He from all the way up became even worse of the worst. Why? He needs to go to LIJ. Wait to know. A monkey is born to be a monkey. You're not a monkey. A goy is born to be a goy. Why you making yourself a goy? So what happened? You becoming worse than all of them. You're not being yourself. Losing of identity. That's the worst thing can happen to you. You know, yesterday I told them in Europe was Rabbi Yonatan Eibishit. Rabbi Yonatan Eibishit was a genius person. All the arguments that the priests had with the Jews, they're gonna call him. He was the only one to answer back to them. They were never able to defeat him. All the time, ta. And they don't know what to do with him. They're going to the king, they're saying the Jews are liars, the Torah is false, everything like that. So the king says, I'm not an expert. Let's see. They brought Rabbi Yonatan Eibishit, right? Next to the priest. And he used to say, okay, what's on your mind? Let me hear. And they saying, hey, here comes Habib, and they going out, nothing to say. The moment that they saw him, they know they're in trouble. They knew it. You see, even him, he had a son. His name was Zev. He was the youngest son. This son has an uncle. His wife, brother, used to live in London. One day, the child came to his Abba and says, I want to go to my uncle. I didn't see him for a long time. He said, what are you going to do there? It's London, not a good place for you to be. He said, no. My uncle will be responsible. He will watch me. Everything is going to be okay. And when the vacation will be over, I'll come back and go back to yeshiva. His wife said, let him go. No. He went. He never came back. He stayed there. Slowly started to go off. Then he went to college. He became with his head, of course, he has such a head. Was very close to the queen. They call them Sir. Now he changed his name from Zev, Wolf. His name is Mr. Wolf. Sir Wolf, call him Rosh. Wolf, yes. So now he became Sir. Then they gave him another title, Lord. Okay. So now what? He gonna marry Judah? He found a shikse. When his father heard this, he couldn't take it. He died. The father passed away. and he was preparing to get married. All the Jewish people in Europe, the son of Rabbi Haimoff is going to marry a shikser bar minan. Nobody were able even to digest it. 2 weeks before the wedding, this his son coming back home, he opening the door, his father sitting on the couch with a suit like he's still alive. And he knows that his father passed away. He told his sister, from the Shamayim, they gave him permission to come. This is very few people can do that. They gave him permission to come back. He came as is, with the suit, beard, everything there. His son told him, what are you doing here? He said, I came to warn you. I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to happen. You better go back home. Go back to the yeshiva before it's too late. And he disappeared. Now, skin, he was subsequent skin. He got so scared, he didn't know what someone asked him. What are you going to do? Now, they preparing it. The queen is invited. Everybody is invited. What is he going to do now? He said, maybe I don't feel well. Maybe under pressure of the wedding was there. He went to a doctor. He gave him pills. Told him, you too much under there. Huh? He gave him valerian. He gave him. Huh? Valerian, to calm down a little bit. Valerian. Again, the father came. Next day, coming home. Again, Abba is there. He told them, this is the last time I'm coming. Next time you're going to see me here, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm going to take you with me. I have the permission to take you. You're going to die on the spot over here, right in this room. You have time to run back home. Go back home. That was not a joke anymore. It's not a joke. He said, okay, I have no choice. My father is my father. Stam, he didn't come here. I'm not sick. And his father told him, no medicine will help you. It's me. I'm talking to you. All right? I came from there to warn you. I'm going to take you. I have permission to take you. Nah? And he's over here and free choice. So that night, he packed up. He packed his stuff. And in the middle of the night, back to Poland. Now everybody searching, where is he? He left a note for he knew that they're going to search for it. He left a note that says, I went back to my roots, not interested with the success. I'm not allowed to. And I came back to, and he became big, big, went back to the yeshiva. That's about an Ibishit. So you know what it means? From the Shamayim to give you permission to come
As it is.
as is. Like he remember his father like this. That's not good. This is once. We have the big Zohiyot here. So he has a book he called The Forest of Honey. Just from the name is very curious. What does it mean, forest of honey? Listen to what he writes. Unbelievable stuff. He said, Nishmatenu memakor elyon. Our neshama coming from the source all the way up under the chair of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like what? He said, we're denying the fact because we're coming to this world and we think that we're becoming farmers. We're starting to act like farmers. Imagine a son of a king acting like a farmer. ואם בן אדם ישכח, if a person going to forget, היותו בן מלך מלכי המלכים הוא, you are the son not of a king, the king of the king of the kings. So if he doesn't know who he is, so how is he going to react? How is he going to behave? Today, what people like? Somebody who goes to yeshiva or Mr. Cool Guy?
Depends where. Most people, they look for
Ah, Mr. Cool Guy, right? What is cool? Ah,
to be like a god. That's what's cool.
what's the meaning of cool? Cool,
Good fella, good fella.
cool means cold, no? That's it. You want to chill out. What is chill out? What does it mean, chilling? Huh?
Cool down. Disconnect from the world.
Chill is to be cold. Meaning we becoming cold to the Torah and the mitzvot is not for us. We better act like a goy. Then we feel good. So I don't care what you're going to say, how much you're going to talk, You're talking to people who lost their identity. They don't know who they are. What are you saying? So first we have to bring him back to tell him, you know who you are? So then automatically he will start to feel these things are not belong to me. What am I doing?
Think of those years since we were poor. Where will we? How will we? Think. Now to hear this and think, oh, that was where I was born. What kind of life I had to live. What kind of school I had to go. All the goyim around.
But I have news for you. The Chamorim, the Uzbek, they knew who you are. That's why they hated you. They knew you coming from a different place. Right? They knew. And when sometimes we knew also. But not to the full extent of it.
That's it.
It's very painful. It's very painful. You're still good. Go to Eretz Israel today. Go see what. You will not believe your eyes, you not go. בכלל, acting like goy, talking like a goy. The music is a goyish music. הכל.
Tel Aviv, I thought.
You know, it was maybe 10 years after I left the army, I read somewhere, listen to this. They made they gave questions to all the high school boys in Israel. These are the boys that are going to the army soon. If you had a chance, it's hypothetical question. If you had a chance to reborn again, do you want to be born as a Jew or as a Gentile? 64% said we don't want to be born again as Jews. We rather be going
In Israel.
in Israel. Why? Because when you're losing your identity, who you are, so that's what happens.
He wasn't happy.
But you can you change your?
Yeah. But Rabbi, question: this have kids, right? Young kids. What's the average age? What's the average age of
What?
the kids? They ask questions. Which kind of
17, 18.
17, 18.
They're going to the army soon to fight for us. And what is the attitude? I don't want to be a Jew.
In your opinion, why? You live in Israel, you were born in Israel.
Yes.
For example, for me, what I'm saying right now is shocking because I always thought if it's Israel, automatically it's supposed to be kosher.
My mother-in-law fought with my father-in-law. She said, what are you going to do there? Eretz Israel. Ibi Eretz Israel, Kdushoyi. I said, no.
That's my imagination stereotype.
He came to Eretz Israel. The first thing he did is kissed the land, and then pitom they're going inside over there. They see a couple,
It's just
hugging.
new thing.
So
Just started.
she told him, Bishanjo, Gjorima, Anak Dushoi.
This what year? 70s, 80s.
A friend of mine in the army at Temani, he told me that his grandmother, she's saying to his grandfather, I think this is not Eretz Israel, we came to the wrong place. The plane made a mistake with us. It cannot be, she said, because all the people from the exile, they had the thing that Eretz Israel, everybody has a beard, everybody going to shul, they become the coming. What's the difference between Tel Aviv and no?
So it's always like this now, or just recently?
It is getting worse. It's getting worse by the years. It's getting much worse.
Isn't this, they say that before Moshiach coming, this like it's like young people become rude and nauseous.
That's something else, by to lose your identity. This is a disaster. And listen to what he writes. I'm not done. וזוהי תכלית מחלתנו, זה we see. זה אומר, the depth, the תכלית, the bottom line it says is, we are sick. Why? Because we lost our identity, so we don't know where we belong. When a person don't know where he belongs. What can you ask from him? Our people, yes, our people that they're living with non-Jews, right? They lost of identity. If a person knows what he is, בכלל is not even, not for discussion.
So what do we do? We just because we have these good examples in Europe, the organizations like NASA, right?
Yeah.
I actually see kids that I used to know, public school, families don't do Shabbat, nothing. Right now, they're like religious kids.
Because what are we doing? We start to explain them who they are.
And this is hundreds of people. Hundreds of
Thousands, no?
maybe. But they do like really good job. Maybe that's the way to do it.
There is a Chazak that does 50 times more than them. You know, but there is so much, you don't know even what to do. So much. So many of them. And the parents don't care, that's the problem.
Of course, it's
If the parents care, no, okay.
at least don't be against. Because sometimes parents could say, no, you don't need it. You don't need
Yeah,
it.
man,
Don't need it.
that's the problem.
At least don't get involved. Just stay away. If one person, if one rabbi says this way, it's not different way. It's a bit different story.
No, because then you will understand. This already when you know that you're coming from a royal place, so some will tell you have to put the knife on the right side, and the other one says, no, the knife has to be on the left side. But you know that they have to use, yes, it's only how to do it. Nobody said don't do it.
It's already makok.
The machloket is on the detail,
Yeah.
not on the core of the thing. Here, you know, all the mitzvot of Pesach, right? The mitzvot shel Korban and Pesach, meaning Hashem wanted us out of Egypt. He said, I don't want to bring you out of there like bunch of slaves. So I have to teach you. I have to bring you back to royalty. There is a book called Sefer Achinuch, you see. He is saying all the reason of the mitzvot. What's the time? He gives you some taste. Why Hashem gave the mitzvah. What for? Listen to what he writes. He said, when you eat the Korban Pesach, what do you used to do? How they used to do it? There's something else. Now, after they tied and they shechted, how you're going to eat it? This is now.
On the dessert.
On
the dessert. After all meal, make sure they have a break.
How they going to eat it? How?
Roasted.
Roasted, very good. צלי אש כתוב. מה זה? צלי roasted. Barbecue on the fire. שיש לי כמה צלי אש. אוקיי? שנאמר, אל תאכלו ממנו נע. Meaning it should not be medium rare. Okay? Like the people say, what you eat, don't eat well done, it's not good. But you know, Ephraim.
Now for long.
ובשל מבושל במים, not even cooked in the water. No, he says.
Right.
כי אם צלי אש has to be fried on the fire. Why? Okay. He says, וזה שנסתווינו לאוכלו, that Hashem commanded us to eat דווקא צלי אש on roasted. Why is it? לפי שכך דרך בני מלכים ושרים. The children of the kings, when they eating a seudah, they don't cook the meat or everything else. They make sure that there is no blood inside. What takes all the blood out? Fire. This how kings are eating. Derech bnei melachim. Hashem said, you my children, I have to teach you how to eat right. So people will look at you, they know where you're coming from. שהוא מאכל טוב ומותאם. It's good and it's tasty. מה? What is it? All right. Now, another halacha. Are you allowed to keep the korban, the meat for tomorrow? No, right? Why not? Listen to what it says. Interesting. Why Hashem commanded us not to leave anything for tomorrow? העניין הוא, the reason is, כדרך מלכים ושרים. You kings, you're not like anybody. Yes, that's what he writes. שאינם צריכים להותיר מתבשילים מיום אל יום. Only simple people, they said, don't throw this food, it's chaval. You know, but tashchit, don't throw it. We'll eat it, you know, one time, two times. He said, kings, no way. They have a cook every day, fresh. And Hashem says, I don't want you to keep anything for tomorrow. I know. I know. So if they should cook less a little bit, so nothing will stay, right? And then we can cook a new one, right?
No, but yes, sometimes on Shabbat they cook more. Then we try to not gonna go out wait for Shabbat. 1 week you finish. That's true. It's true.
Yeah. Now, there is a mitzvah on a Pesach not to take anything outside. You know, sometimes your friend calling you, you just say to your parents, okay, I'll take this food, I'm going outside to it. Said, no way. Look. כן, לא תוציא מן הבית חוצה. You're not allowed to go out of the house to eat outside. Really. Did you see once Mr. Trump in a restaurant? מה פתאום? I'll give you any amount. Never ever.
All the restaurant come to this house.
They have a cook in Israel also. The prime minister now go to restaurant. They have a chef. He does everything inside because it's not for his respect to sit with everybody outside. He said Jewish people eat only inside and outside.
For example, you take the child, go to park, mark, pocket. What do you eat?
This is for the Spanish people. That's for them. We have to learn kings not eating outside, only inside the house.
In your backyard.
You know, somebody told me, and I found out that it's correct. The Pope, he eats by himself. Nobody is allowed to be in the room. Yeah. Nobody is there. Why? He says, because I am a different entity. Nobody should see how I chew, how I eat.
About make dinner, people,
What?
what if make it like example, aroha
For who?
for everybody, it's a pork, like example, who doesn't eat,
He doesn't eat.
surat.
So what? Yes. He says, listen. מפני שנעשינו בני חורין ואדונים. Now we became masters. You're the child of הקדוש ברוך הוא. ולא נוציאהו לחוץ. You should not take the meat outside and everything else to eat outside. He said, no, why? כדרך מלכי ארץ. Even the kings of the country, they don't eat outside. Also, there is a mitzvah in Pesach. You cannot break the bones with your teeth, you know. Sometimes you have ilik, no? Ilik. So we want to take it out. He said, this is for the farmers. He said, בעצם לא תשברו בו. Listen to what he said. And because there is איסורים מדאורייתא. This מדאורייתא.
Only on Pesach.
Only on Pesach. No, only on Pesach, just to teach you. This is the holiday of what? Freedom. How to be royal. They're going to teach you how to be royal. They're making you a very advanced course.
It's meaning
Aristocrat.
you cannot never break the bone.
You're not allowed to. He said, some people, you know, until they're going to take all the meat from the bones, you know, they're not going to keep quiet. Hey, hello. What, you a dog? וגם זה גזע. He said, this is the genes מן השורש הנזכר, from the root that I told you where you're coming from, שאין כבוד, is not מכובד, is not respectful, לבני מלכים, to children of a king, לגרור עצמות. Did you see once a king קרא, taking a, ולשוברם ככלבים, he said, this is a dog. Come on. And that's what the Hashem wrote it in the Torah. I want you to act with manner so people will see that you בכלל come from a different place. Not like anyone else. Okay?
Sefer HaChinuch.
החינוך. I think they have it in English also.
How to keep the work? You have work, you need to be done.
Yeah. Don't you have an office? Close the door. Then you can inside the office.
Isolate.
Isolate.
I don't have a place that I could hire. I don't have same room as everybody else. The team. I don't. I sit on the table line.
It's not the best thing. Okay.
Oh, restaurant, this, that. It's a place where we go.
No. I used to lifestyle. If you ever either have no like place, used to have a table like a folding table. Used to unfold. Used to sit like normally. Eat his lunch. Nobody was bothering him. No. Seriously.
Yeah.
Они предлагают работать полчаса, раскладывать свой стол, кушать спокойно. Никто,
Yeah.
This already mental. No, what's mental? OCD. Obsessive compulsive.
И кушали, когда работали, кушали раз, клиент пришел, поставил, есть.
Здесь
Правильно. Было такое.
So now
4 раз, 5 раз.
there is a book that was written already in our generation. It calls Sefer Aleshu. This person was the mashgiach of yeshiva. Rav, his name was the name was Rav Shlomo Wolbe. He was maestro of chinuch. Mamash, his book, the unbelievable book. And he writes as follows. Listen to what he writes. Very interesting. He said, "Beli toda'at chashivut," without recognition how important you are, and avodah b'Torah. Forget. You don't know how to serve Hashem. You don't know what you're doing because you're not holding yourself as important. When a person comes over here to pray with the jeans, so I don't know what, sneakers and so on, it's fine. We know that. But we have to pray for him because a prince don't go like. This is to tell you don't be judgmental, but we know already, when you're dealing with if he is observant or not, okay? But he says, you have to understand. I'm going to read it again. בלי תודעת חשיבות, מה זה חשוב? Without knowing that you're important, אין עבודה בתורה. You're not going to serve Hashem properly. Why? Hashem says, ואתם תהיו לי ממלכת כהנים וגוי קדוש. You are like the Kohen. The Kohen has a different entity. וגוי קדוש, מה זה קדוש? You're different. We're different. If we're not going to act different and important, we're going to miss the whole point. So all the avonot that we're doing with the al chet shechatan lefanecha be'ones, chashav lefanecha b'bli da'at, it goes according to the alphabet. We know that. The question is why? Why are we doing this? The Gemara says, Avda Evet. What is Evet? A slave. Be'efkera nichale. Evet like efkerut. What is efkerut? No rules, no klum. He doesn't want to do anything. Bacharash like a loose dog. That's Evet. Hashem didn't want this for us. רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא, כן? זה the most popular זה, נכון? חנניה בן הקשה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל. Meaning to give us privilege. כן? לפי כך, therefore, הרבה להם, he gave them a lot תורה ומצוות. 613 rules we have. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do this, you have to act like this. People say, Ibi, die. But they don't know that the restrictions will bring you the royalty. Evet. So most people today, they're acting like what? Like a slave. I don't want no rules. Don't tell me what to do. Don't judge the book by the cover, and so on and so on. Those is the routine, right? This is excuses. You have to decide. Do you want to be a son of a king, or you want to be Eved? Eved the Efkerut. Efkerut means anarchy. Everybody can do whatever they want.
Evaluate ourselves. I have a question.
You know? What do you think when you're going to therapy? What do you think we're doing? What do you think we're doing?
Well, therapy,
Yeah.
we're thinking back. I'm just kidding. Yeah, evaluation, yeah. Questioning,
You're taking it all the way down, all the way back.
childhood.
Back. The problem that he sees now is already symptoms. Where is it coming from? You as a doctor also, you see the symptom, you know what to do, right? You know where it's coming from. Are you going to treat the symptom? No. If I'm coming with a jaw, comes and says, look, my look. Of course I know. There is inside of here a small infection that cause all this. That's all. And he thinks that's the problem. And no, that's not the problem. We have to drill and make a root canal and see what's going on there. So we have to drill also. We have to go down and see where is the infection that gives all these symptoms. So when you see a person not behaving, something is wrong. So right away we start to drill. What did you acquire?
You find this moment, what's next?
Now we have to tell them who you are, where is it coming from, and we have to fix it. Then we're gonna start to build them up. And this is the best thing how to do the tshuva. Not to start from the roof, from the bottom. First of all, you have to know who you are. People threw themselves into a fire to save you. So either they crazy, either you crazy. Somebody was crazy. So why they were ready to die? Because they,
That's why
huh?
so many Rabbanim, they didn't care how they died. And so many people, they want to be a Jew because the Jewish people are blessed.
What do you
Now,
mean?
see, a lot of rabbis just to die as a Jew, just to die for the code Hashem, they didn't care what's going to happen in
They didn't want to lose their identity.
But a lot of people today, they want to be called Jew because the Jewish people are very wealthy. You know, it doesn't make no sense why one person died, or let's say our elderly people. They kept kashrut, they couldn't eat for days. But the people over here today, they can eat seafood, they can eat anything they want.
Again, it's totally it's wrong because they don't know yet who they are. They still they lost of identity.
They want to do something good, but they don't have a reason. They don't have a good reason. Like this
Pope, whatever he wanted to do good things, but reasoning was bad. They want to become Jew for reason to be wealthy. What is
Listen, they were asking the Karlin Rav, the Admor Karlin, what is the worst sin that a Jew can make? You know what he said? You know what he said? I'm going to read it from inside. החטא הנורא ביותר, the most terrible sin that a Jew can make, הוא לשכוח, to forget שהוא בן מלך, that he is a son of a king. There is no worse averah than this one, because this will bring all the other averot. That's a problem. So we have to make awareness to tell people, hey, hello, you have different genes. You cannot change your gender. You're a Jew. You're a Jew. Can you change your genes? Royalty comes with the genes. If a person don't want it, why I say it's too many restrictions. Like the grandchild of the Queen of England, he decided to depart. Why? He married a lady black. She said she is an Eved. She's Eved. Noah cursed them already. Eved Avadim here. No matter who you are, you're going to stay Eved. So she said, there's too many rules over here. I can't live like this. I can't live like this. Because they like Efkerut. Who is creating all the balagan in America? The looting, the stealing, everything. Who they are? Why? Efkerut.
used to be a slave, right now?
They don't want any rules. They don't want any rules. A Jew cannot live without rules. Every king have rules, you know. I cannot do what other people are doing. Yes, you limited, but that's what gives you the royalty.
That's the question.
Yeah, go ask.
Which are about you with children.
Yeah,
We are saying we are royal. Royalty, the king is not sitting doing the cleaning in the room. He has a maid, right? But when you see your children, the maid comes, she cleans, then next day again balagan,
good,
and they sitting, and they making more balagan.
good.
Is what kind of world?
Children supposed to make balagan.
No, there is children and there is already not so much children,
Okay.
but still making balagan.
As long as the balagan is inside that house, it's okay.
Again, invite the maid.
Yeah,
This your answer, right?
yeah.
What about shut that?
Chas v'shalom.
I noticed that when you come over there with tzitzit and tefillin, it is so neatly placed,
Yes,
and for the next day, it doesn't come in one day. There are people that would throw, hey, oh,
chas v'shalom.
and they're looking, oh, where is it? It's just slapping it. Slap. But royalty also requires some discipline. You know, you value your very holy objects, value the place where you live. You have to put input into that, no?
talking already about in the palace, how to behave inside the palace. So a king to be a messy, that's not nice. So part of being royal, meaning to be neat, right? President, when it comes to speak, it cannot come, open over here, and you cannot, you have to be neat. So this takes time. It's the course that we have to give them at home, right? At home. But if I'll tell you something now, you're not accustomed to it. I know that. But I can tell you where I grew up. I told you, I think, once, twice. My father said to my mother, I don't want you ever to see you holding a broom or, mop the floor. Say, Chas v'shalom. That's not for you. I'll bring you a maid, she'll do it. You don't do it. You in the kitchen, okay, cook. That's fine. But to clean, Chas v'shalom. You say, Ibi, I want to clean. With my boys, I clean. It's okay. He said, why? Because he said, you bachel melech, but Tamil Chacham, I don't want you to do that. So we as kids, from day one when I got married, I brought a maid to the house. My wife, she simple one, she said, I'm not used to it. I know how to play. Russia dead already. Now you're here. I don't want you to do this. My brothers, all of them like this. All of them. To tell you that it's for everybody, I don't know. I don't know anything. It depends on your ability, depends on. But if you have the ability, by all means, by all means.
Get used to not doing things for themselves.
Yafe. Good. So we had a rule that the maid will not go into the kids' room. The maid that comes will not clean her room, their room. And my kids will say, Abba, it's not fair. Why all the rooms are clean, only us knows? No. I said, the maid is not for you. It's for Ima. I have no obligation to you. I have obligation to you, Ima. You have to clean your room.
They're also royalty, no?
First of all, if you want to be royal, you have to be neat. Start acting with royalty. You have to train. It's part of the, Yeah, it is.
But for the kids, it hurts me inside. When I see they're not doing.
Don't worry. When they get married, what how?
Don't worry, they didn't make it
First of all, they don't know what kind of situation they will have.
So then she don't have a choice. So then she don't have a choice. And she will clean. That's all.
Doesn't know how to clean. What do you want? I'm used to cleaning later. Well, how you gonna think about that? It's too late. I didn't know that detail. Not
Yeah, my kids, a demonstration they used to do. Me, no, me, blah. I said,
nothing. None of the kids.
kids,
None of the
the maid is only for him, not for you.
in
Sorry.
the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the living. That's it. There.
Living room, dining room, everything that belong to my wife. So we give you a room.
But your room, the cleaning lady, please.
Of course, I'm paying, no?
You know, I should tell them mama that. They used to. They were your mama. They clean. I said they don't clean the house.
Good, okay.
Clean up, like come home. Clean.
Okay, good.
Clean up. I don't like that. But some they know. Right? The cleaning lady comes. That's it.
I'm not like you.
What?
I don't care if the house goes upside down. I don't care.
When I come home, I should be at least clean.
I don't care. Who cares? He like
It was raised like whole city. Yeah.
in Russia, oh,
Like my mom, my parents' house is taking my mom's crazy about cleaning. If she come into my house, she will flip.
they're missing the whole farm. They're missing the farm, no? They're missing the farm. They're missing the farm. Who cares? You know, when you have kids, you know, toys all over the place. That's a blessing.
Everything I have. But you see, even today, I gotta bring already. I don't like how they do it. I don't like it. I say, better if I do like this myself, don't bring anyone. Because I don't like the way they do.
Why?
Because they do that just what you see. But what inside of the class, they're not
Spanish. No, are you taking a car to Karush for 15 minutes? They clean the car. After 2 hours, you do again.
Even the construction thing also. I said I don't do myself.
That's the reality of it. It's an interesting topic. A lot of things we could speak about because I cannot say I agree with this kind of thing.
Okay.
Huh? About children. About children. It does make
You say the mentality in Russia was a different mentality all the way. You see, we have to make sure that the kids will do it as part of fun. They want to do it and they're happy to do it. We're not making it fun and it's not happy, it's demanding. And that's why it creates resistance. Resistance already, the house changed to a different mode, very stressful, not pleasant. So we have to put on the scale, what is better? To live under fights, stress, or against cleaning, or the cleaning is number one. You can cry, you can say whatever you want. No.
If the kids clean the room once a day, I'm saying they make their beds. Allow the place.
Rabbi, how do you make it happy?
Ah,
How do you make kids to have a pleasant cleaning time?
okay, so first you have to help them, to sing with them, not making any faces, you know. You can bribe them from time to time, not always, of course, and to tell them many compliments, so they will feel it's worth it. But we don't have patience for all this. Our house look like an army. Clean. Yes, man. רק זה חסר לעשות, to do this and גמרנו. We don't have it. We don't have the patience and the time to come there. Come. I'll show you what to do. See? Here we're gonna put it here. And this we're gonna put there. What do you say? Should we put it here or there? Slowly, you see that you're trying to help them, not to command them. We becoming the captains and they becoming the soldiers. Right? The chief and the Indians. That's a problem. That's a class by itself that I have to teach. Have a good night, everybody.